Hi, friends. I had a follow-up insight after doing my post yesterday, in which I believe I spoke a little bit about a podcast or an interview that I heard with Ken Wilber, one of my favorite philosophers, and how sort of inspiring I found that talk. And interestingly, it was really kind of incredible to watch what happened in me psychologically, what I became aware of as I started to get a little more inside the mechanism of projection. And it's one of these things where understanding what our mind is doing gives us a measure of control over that process. It's impossible to stop projecting our negativity outside of ourselves if we don't know we're doing it. If we think that negative things in the world are really and truly negative things in the world attacking us, we're going to have a totally different response, and we're going to believe that a totally different response is warranted than if we understand that that negativity is projected by us. It is something in our own shadow that we are externalizing because we've repressed it, and we haven't owned it, we haven't integrated it into our own being. So we're putting it outside ourselves, and we're looking for people who are a good hook to hang it on, And a lot of times, those people, it's not that we will be hooking this negative attribute onto someone who doesn't have it. I mean, that can happen, but a lot of times it'll be, what we're looking for intuitively, what we're looking for instinctively is a good hook. So someone on whom the color of whatever our repressed negativity is kind of looks good on them. They have a fair amount of that in their makeup. That's where we're going to go and hook it, because now we can actually really believe there's not as much cognitive dissonance. It makes sense that this person really is this negative force in our lives. So it's not that the projection doesn't contain a certain kind of reality or a certain kind of truth. The point of it is that we would not be reacting strongly against it if it weren't also being projected. And I feel like this understanding just has massive implications for our entire culture, and certainly on a personal level, kind of doing this work. It's almost like we look at the world today, and we look at what the dialogue is, or the kind of absence of dialogue, the cultural gridlock that we're in. And man, what could happen in that space if even just a little bit of this insight really could hit home, could really deeply strike us and give us an alternate response. Because you meet something negative in the world, if it and we have this eradication response. I mean, you can have any number of responses, but there's a tendency, again, when there's projected content, projected material, being in the transaction, our response tends to be big. It's almost like the repression that we have gone through internally, the energy and the effort that we are expending moment to moment, day to day, all the time, in order to keep that part of us repressed. We will make an equal effort in our external life to diminish, to delegitimize, to try and banish those elements, that energy, whatever it happens to be, in our external world. And it's never going to be successful. We will never get there. And it's kind of like understanding, it's almost like the understanding that what is required is an internal integration. Completely flips the approach. And if magically everyone in the world all of a sudden, spontaneously or non-spontaneously, with some coaching, maybe with some practice, overnight reintegrated all that darkness, all that shadow, it's not like there would be nothing left to do in the external world. Not like there would be no work left to do. There would be plenty of work left to do. It's just that then we'd be doing it from a place of non-reactive, we ourselves will not have been inflamed by what we're encountering. And the emotional and psychological heat might be able to, if you take that out of the equation, all of a sudden, okay, well, what are we really working with? Right now, I know for myself, when I'm in that place, and this happens to me in various ways, it happens on the personal level. It manifests in all of our lives in probably a variety of ways. But when that happens to me, I know I'm not seeing clearly. Now, in the moment, I might feel strongly that I am seeing clearly. But man, a little perspective and a little bit of this work, a little bit of listening, a little bit of paying attention to what the real experience is. I mean, the fact is, we can identify this. We can identify in ourselves the act of projection. It's not impossible to see. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take maybe some training, or like I've had some really good therapy over the years. I'm fascinated by thinkers like Ken Wilber, or he was basically talking about Fritz Perls and that process that Perls invented to kind of unearth shadow material, to really kind of very quickly discover it and take it from out there to an owned and integratable perception, I'm fascinated by that. That, to me, is like the art of living, the art of, that sounds lame, but you get what I mean. It's like this incredible high art of evolution, the art of evolution. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm trying to give it a title, but but I am. It's a process that I just find endlessly inspiring, and as no coincidence, it's also the process that I feel like I engage in with most of my students and clients. That's ultimately what we're doing, whether we're working on piano, or whether we're working on a creative project, or whether we're working on just life coaching type stuff. That sort of, how do we evolve? How does a human being evolve? I love it. And it really does give me a sense that there are tools. We've had some really pretty spectacular tool builders on this earth. And we should start using some of those tools. If we're going to use our technological tools and our sort of like the incredible power that we've created in the scientific technological realm, we should also be employing these tools that help the technology of this brain, this mind, this amazing, most advanced machine in the known universe. Let's use those tools too. If we know how that thing works, and if we can start to use this technology in a new way, and in a way that really takes the violence, that knows what's happening when we have a violent reaction, and makes it's not that we suppress or judge or delegitimize a violent reaction, but we know what a violent reaction means. We know what it means when someone's inflamed by something or someone else, or even simply by a conflict of worldviews. We know that there's something going on, and we have the technology to help people discover it. Willingness, Sadhguru says willingness is the only prerequisite for transformation. You gotta be willing, but man, does that offer opportunities and sort of give me a sense of hope. So, that's where I am today. Thanks, folks. Much love. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.